Mitch McConnell is hell-bent on making sure that the Supreme Court vacancy created by the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that seat goes to a conservative justice. And because he controls the Senate, that's probably going to happen. That's a reality that the rest of us have to come to grips with. We do not have enough backbone in the Democratic leadership in the House or the Senate to engage in any of the procedural hurdles that could delay or somehow prevent McConnell from doing this. They've said they're not going to do it. So it is what it is. We have to come to terms with it, and we'll deal with that as it comes. But who else has to come to terms with it? Mitch McConnell himself. Because here is what we know so far. There are several Republicans, some of whom are actually up for re-election this year, who it's not sitting too well with their constituents that they may or might seem a little wishy-washy on whether or not they're going to support whoever it is Trump nominates to fill this vacant Supreme Court seat. Polls right now show 62% of voters want the next president to decide who gets to sit there. The winner in November gets to decide. If it's Trump, great, nominate somebody the very day. But if it's Biden, we're going to wait until after the inauguration, then do it. That's what the public wants. Mitch McConnell will never let that happen. That seat will be filled months before we get to the inauguration. Unfortunately, folks, that's the way it is. But McConnell is the one who is likely going to pay the price for it. And here's why. Mitch McConnell knows that there is nothing he can do that's going to make him lose his seat to Amy McGrath. And I know that Amy McGrath has raised a ton of money since the passing of Justice Ginsburg. But it's not because she did anything. It's because people from out of state want Mitch McConnell gone. Fantastic. Same thing we saw with Beto O'Rourke running against Ted Cruz. It's great. It doesn't work. And it's not going to work because McConnell, as of right now, has a double-digit lead against that pro-Trump Democrat, Amy McGrath. She has no chance in hell of beating him. So here we are. McConnell knows that, so he knows he is safe. He also understands that if he loses the Senate because of this, which is likely to happen, he only loses it for 2 years. Let's remember, folks, every 2 years we have Senate elections. Now, not all the Senate is up at once. But the next go-round, there's more Democrats up than there are Republicans. This year, there's more Republicans than there are Democrats. So worst case scenario for Mitch McConnell is that he loses control of the Senate for 2 years. That's it. Then, during those 2 years, especially if Joe Biden wins the White House, he knows, statistically speaking, historically speaking, he's going to win the Senate back. And he'll be right back in charge, and he'll have another 4 years left on his term. He has nothing to lose. So Mitch McConnell right now is playing this strategically. He understands that he can sacrifice people like Susan Collins in Maine. Pfft, you're gone. It's okay. McSally out in Arizona. Bye-bye. You're not coming back. And he may lose control of the Senate, but he understands getting that Supreme Court seat is worth 2 years of being a slim minority in the Senate. That's what he gets out of it. And he's right. That's a good trade. Because you hold that Supreme Court seat, if Trump nominates Judge Comey Barrett, they're going to have that Supreme Court seat for about 40 years based on her age. At least 30. So you get one seat on the Supreme Court you can guarantee for 30 years in exchange for losing a majority in the Senate for maybe 2 years. It's a pretty good trade-off. So Mitch McConnell is willing to throw all these weak, embattled Republicans under the bus, let the public take their anger out on McConnell, at McConnell on those people like Collins and McSally. And McConnell doesn't have to deal with any repercussions other than not being called majority leader for the next 2 years. Either way, seems like he wins. And that is absolutely terrifying.